Hello and welcome to the Plant Powered Celiac. This channel is all about gluten-free, plant-based health and wellness. I'm Hayley and today we are going to be talking about how to eat more fresh whole plant foods without breaking the bank. I'm sure that if you're watching this video, you want to experience the best health possible. Most of us do. And eating more fresh, living foods like vegetables and fruits are of course a big part of that. So if you want to eat more whole plant foods to nourish your body, but you're worried about the cost of changing your diet, here are some simple and effective tips that I do that can help you achieve great health without breaking the bank. Because when I first went vegan and then whole food plant-based, I had all those same worries. So today I'm going to share what I do, and I really hope that these tips are helpful to you. Number one is to reduce extra spendings to prioritize your health. Start by asking yourself, how important is my health really? Look at your current budget. Look where you're currently spending money and see what you could swap out. Or maybe a service or expense you're paying for that you could do yourself. See what extra spendings you could reduce to prioritize buying more fresh fruit and vegetables. And ladies, these could be things like getting your nails done really regularly or buying the most expensive makeup or skincare. Look at what you're spending on entertainment and subscriptions. How often are you buying new clothes, new shoes, new accessories? It's also helpful to look at how often you're eating out. For me personally, I hate eating out. It is so much cheaper for me to buy my own fresh food and cook myself at home than to go out and buy a dish that isn't flavored the way I like it. Maybe it's not cooked the way I like it. Maybe it's a much smaller portion than what I'm used to help me feel full and satisfied. And I'm paying maybe triple the price I would pay if I just made it myself. So I suggest looking at what are your non-negotiables? What are the things that you really need to spend money on? And make sure that you include things that do bring you joy and that do add a sense of fun and relief to your life. But also look at where else you're spending extra money that you could reduce it. And just another thought on spending money to improve your looks, buying new clothes, jewelry, makeup, all those things that we put on our bodies will never make us as beautiful as what we can put inside our bodies. I feel like when we are nourished, when we're healthy, when we're physically fit and we feel good, that radiance gives off a kind of beauty that new clothes and fancy jewelry and expensive accessories just can never buy. So if you're spending money to improve your self-esteem by wanting to look better, try investing in the foods that you put into your body. They will improve your overall aesthetic, I guess, more than anything you can put on your body. So I like to look at it that way as well. Now, if you're looking at your budget and you're thinking, I'm not even spending extras, and you still want to eat a whole food plant-based diet and make it affordable, then my second tip is to shop at fruit and vegetable markets for your fresh produce instead of the supermarkets. Sometimes fruit and vegetable markets have more slightly seconds produce where it's not as crispy fresh as maybe some of the supermarkets do, but it's always so much cheaper. Now, maybe you're somebody who wants to prioritize eating organic foods, which is wonderful. I personally, it's not a priority for me. I'm happy to buy my produce and just wash it. If you really want to eat organic and you're on a budget, then maybe have a look at the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 lists of fruit and vegetables that you can find online. So the Dirty Dozen listed here are the fruits and vegetables that are recommended that you buy organic because their skin is directly exposed to things like pesticides. Whereas the Clean 15 are things like obviously your bananas and melons and avocados, things that have a harder skin and you're not actually eating the skin, you're either cutting into it, removing it, it's not going into your body. Those you can get away with not buying organic. But like I said, I've been eating a whole food plant-based diet for over 6 years. I don't prioritize eating organic and my health hasn't suffered for it. So it's a personal preference, but if your budget is small and you still want to eat lots of fruit and vegetables, then I recommend you look at that Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen list and make your decisions from there. Because my personal feelings about this are that eating less than organic produce is still going to be so much healthier for you than eating packaged, highly processed, refined foods that are full of chemicals and hydrogenated oils and things that are going to adversely affect your health much quicker than eating less than organic produce. That's just my personal thoughts on it, but you make your own choice. And tip number 3, which ties into shopping at fruit and vegetable markets, is buying your produce in bulk. I never go to the supermarket and just buy a couple of apples or 1 or 2 cucumbers. I love to buy bags of cucumbers, bags of zucchini, bags of tomatoes, bags of apples. I love to buy bags of potatoes. So look for what is in season, look for what is on special, look for what is in bulk. So eating a whole foods plant-based diet, or just wanting to eat more fresh whole plant foods in general, means that you're going to eat a larger volume of them. So you need to buy your fresh produce in bulk because you're going to go through it a lot quicker, and it's so much cheaper to buy it in a bulk bag or box so that you can have plenty there to eat to keep you full and satisfied. I always buy my produce in bulk, and that is how I save money in the long run. Tip number 4 is only buy produce that you will actually eat to eliminate waste. So I like most fruit and vegetables. There's not many that I don't like. But if you really hate broccoli, don't go buying bags of broccoli and let it sit in your fridge and rot, because that's just going to waste money. Even if you think broccoli is healthy for me, I should be eating it. Look at the fruit and vegetables that you do like. I definitely recommend experimenting and trying new ones and making sure that you're getting in the really high nutrient vegetables like dark leafy greens and all kinds of raw cruciferous, whether that's cabbage or cauliflower, broccoli, whatever it might be. But don't buy the produce that you don't like the taste of, otherwise it will just sit in your fridge and rot and you'll have to throw it out. So buy the foods that you enjoy the taste of, buy the foods that you know you'll actually cook in recipes. Maybe do some experimenting with different vegetables and different flavors, but buy what you will eat to eliminate waste. Tip number 5 is to cook simple meals using similar vegetables on repeat. So I do like to eat a lot of raw foods throughout the day, but at dinner time, I almost always have a cooked meal. And I like to use similar vegetables, but just change up the flavor, change up the protein source, change up the starch, whatever it is. I find that I can not only save money, but still be really creative with the same 3 vegetables. For example, carrot, zucchini, and broccoli. I can make laksa, I can make pasta, I can make like a Thai peanut satay, I can make Thai curries, I can make so many things from using just those 3 vegetables, and I can buy them in bulk bags and just keep taking from the bags. And then I don't have to spend more money on buying a bulk bag of, say, eggplant or something that I'm only going to use for one recipe in 1 week and then it goes bad, in the fridge. So I definitely recommend cooking meals simply and using similar ingredients on a regular basis. Not every night. Don't eat the same vegetables every night, but rotate them in a way that you can use them and make them taste great without letting any vegetables go to waste in your fridge. I have a video that shows how to use the same vegetables for 3 different dinners, and it's really simple, so feel free to check that out as well. Tip number 6 is split box orders with family or friends, or even your neighbors. If you have people that are close to you, whether they live near you or they're family or friends that also want to eat more fresh fruit and vegetables, then you can look at companies that do deliveries online, and maybe you could split a box. You can do farmers markets, whatever it is, but you could go in it together and split the cost. And that is just a really easy way to save on more fruit and vegetables. Number 7, I kind of covered this, but buy what is on special and get creative with it. So for example, these melons, they were 99 cents each. But sometimes these melons are $4 or $5, and I'm not going to buy them at that price. But for 99 cents, I'm definitely going to buy a few. And they're such a great afternoon snack, or add to your breakfast, have after dinner, whatever it is, whenever you're hungry. Melons are so easy to digest. They're so good for you. And they're just so delicious and hydrating. This watermelon also at the moment was 88 cents a kilo. Now, sometimes watermelon is $3.99 a kilo. I'm probably not going to buy a whole watermelon at $4 a kilo. When it's on special, definitely. I always buy the big bags of spinach because I'll probably go through one of these a day with my green smoothies. I love to look at what's on special and then make a meal based off that. So if pumpkin is really cheap, I'll make a pumpkin soup, or I'll roast the pumpkin up and do some kind of chickpea pumpkin salad or a pasta dish, whatever it is. But look for what's on special and make your meals off of that. Tip number 8 is to actually go into your local fruit and vegetable shop and ask them for any end of day clearance specials or bulk deal specials or any kind of less than fresh specials. If you're going to eat the produce that night or, within a day kind of thing, and things are not as fresh as they could be, but they're still good enough to make a meal out of that night, then ask. You never know what the fruit and vegetable stores want to get rid of, what they're happy to give you for a really cheap price. So it doesn't hurt to ask. Tip number 9 is to load up on fruits and vegetables that you can buy frozen because they are often cheaper than buying the fresh version. For example, things like frozen mangoes or frozen blueberries, frozen strawberries. Strawberries, when they're out of season, are so expensive. You can even buy frozen bags of frozen bananas or frozen cherries or frozen passion fruit. Fruits that are really not in season all year round, but are so delicious. Fruit is really nature's candy, and it's so easy to get your sweet tooth fix by having a range of more kind of exciting, exotic fruits in the freezer ready to go for whenever you need something sweet. I personally have a huge sweet tooth, and the thought that I could eat as much fresh fruit as I want on a whole food plant-based diet is really what drew me to eating this way, because I have craved sugar all my life, and being able to fill that sweet tooth with fresh or frozen fruits is the best. I feel like I get to enjoy fruit ice creams and sweet smoothies and delicious fruit salads, and even just cutting open a melon and eating it. It's so satisfying to me, and it really makes this lifestyle so much more enjoyable. So I highly recommend keeping lots of fresh fruit in the freezer. Other options to keep in the freezer in terms of vegetables would obviously be things like frozen peas. I love to keep a lot of frozen broccoli in the freezer because I do, for myself, I love broccoli with most of my dinners, whether it's roasted in the oven or I make it into a soup or a stir fry. Frozen broccoli is just a fantastic vegetable to have on hand. I also like to keep things like frozen cauliflower, mixed frozen vegetables, just to add to any kind of curry or stir fry. I find really, really helpful. And my very last and probably most important tip number 10, is to view buying fresh produce as a health investment, because that really is what it does for us. And you are worth that investment. Investing in buying fresh produce regularly is really good health insurance. Now, eating a whole food plant-based diet doesn't mean that you won't ever get sick or you won't ever have to struggle with some kind of health challenge at all ever in your life. We are in a human condition, so of course we're going to have our challenges. But eating more fresh whole plant foods means that you may not get as sick as often, and if you do get sick, it may not be as severe. I used to really struggle with getting colds and flus before I went whole food plant-based. And I think I've had the flu once since going whole food plant-based. And that's when we were traveling in Japan. So I couldn't drink my green smoothies and do what I normally do at home. But I find that it just keeps my immune system really sharp, and I just don't pick things up as easily, and they don't stay for very long. Eating a whole food plant-based diet doesn't guarantee that you'll never get sick, but it is very protective, and in most cases, it's quite preventative. So when you look at your genes and what your family has been susceptible to, there is a big chance that you'll be able to prevent or prolong or even lessen the degree of some of those hereditary diseases or illnesses that might be in your family. So I have personally experienced so much healing because of eating more whole plant foods, like when I developed psoriasis a few years ago. At the time, I was eating more cooked whole plant foods, less raw foods. I wasn't including things like omega-3 fatty acids. I will probably make more videos about how a whole food plant-based diet helped me to reverse my psoriasis symptoms, but I just want to say that eating more fresh produce really made a massive difference, and I'll never look back. I promise you that eating more whole plant foods is not only a fantastic health investment, but it can also be your beauty secret. Your skin will glow, your hair will be healthier, your nails will be stronger, your bowels will move fantastically on their own with all this fiber and all this water. You'll be able to reach and maintain a healthy body shape, and you'll be able to feel mentally and physically happier and lighter by eating more whole plant foods. Thank you so much for being here today. I really hope that you found something in this video helpful or uplifting and encouraging. And I truly wish you all the best on your health journey. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.